Good morning, good morning. How's everybody this morning? Got those 2 cups of coffee down, ready to go, right? All right. Well, thank you for the invitation to be here. I know that I'm following a really tough lineup this morning. Congressman Lucas, Chairman Lucas, is a great friend of mine from Oklahoma and done a great job, and a longtime member of our committee. And I'm sure he was, I saw some of the remarks a while ago listening to him, and did a great job. I think, I was introduced and a few things were told about me with regards to my background. I've been in the financial services business a long time. Was a financial regulator for a while. So I've been on both sides of the desk, and that kind of makes me a dangerous guy around here because I know both sides of what's going on. So the regulators can't really pull the wool over our eyes, or my eyes anyway, as much as they have sometimes with some of my colleagues. But it's helpful to know both sides so you understand both sides of the issue. So it's been a great background for me to be in my position as chairman of the Financial Institutions Subcommittee here in Congress. The subcommittee itself oversees all the banks, credit unions, payday lenders, mortgage bankers, credit bureaus, as well as all of the folks that regulate them, including the Federal Reserve, Comptroller, FDIC, CFPB, which is, of course, your favorite agency, right? That's the one that gives us all the headaches and gray hair around here. It's been quite a situation. So this morning I've been asked to talk a little bit about a couple different bills that we're working on. One is BSA, MAL, Bank Secrecy Act, anti-money laundering, and basically what's occurred is that financial institutions have been deputized by the law enforcement side of the financial services industry, financial services regulators, to become basically the law enforcement investigators as well as the enforcers. And that's a job you didn't sign up for. It's a job that you're not really, quite frankly, not qualified for, and it's something you shouldn't have to do. Yet, what's going on is that you have been again, deputized to do that, and the paperwork and the man hours that you're putting in is just ridiculous and costing you lots and lots of dollars that you really don't have the opportunity to recover except in raising costs of your operation. So it's something we're working on. A good friend of mine, Congressman Pierce out of New Mexico, and I are co-sponsoring a bill. We've had a lot of hearings on this, been working on this for quite some time. And I think we're going to come up with a pretty good bill here. The key to that particular bill is to come up with a definition for beneficial ownership, which basically is you're talking about who actually owns a business so that you can tie all connect all the dots and cross all the T's to figure out who actually owns something and see once where the money's going. That's the key to the whole bill. If we can figure this out, well, I think we're going to be able to have a good piece of legislation. With regards to data security, another bill that I'm carrying and is a key, I think, to what's going on in our country. In committee, we've had the testimony that has actually said we've had 1,700 breaches last year alone. A lot of them are highly publicized, as you well know, and I think that we need to be able to do something about that. I know that we've been charged by the administration, our leadership, and it's been filtered all the way down to me and my committee to put some stuff together that we can actually, I think, move forward with trying to protect individuals' data and do it in a way that allows you to protect yourselves. And I think that we're getting closer to getting something put together. But I think 2 keys that I think we're working on, I think are important. One is notification. I think it's important that the public be notified in a timely fashion. Right now in our bill we say immediately. We're trying to define the word immediately. But to me, if your data has been exposed, waiting 2 or 3 weeks like Equifax did and over a year like the SEC did is unacceptable. Individuals need to have the opportunity if, for instance, in Equifax breach, they didn't notify because they wanted to get the call center up. In the meantime, all of your data was exposed for 2 or 3 weeks, which is unacceptable. So we're trying to fix that with regards to the liability portion of the bill, which I think is the other key. We need to be able to assess liability to that entity that is breached. They're the ones who either didn't do their job or didn't have something in place that could actually protect the data of those customers or business clients, whoever it is, that they were in charge of their data. So I think that, very good. In order to do all this, we're probably going to have to preempt some of the state's ability to impact this. Quite frankly, there's a patchwork of laws across the country right now that deal with data security. And we need to harmonize those. For most businesses go across state lines now, so we have to find a way to be able to make this harmonized across the country. And I'm not a big guy to preempt states' rights, but I think in this situation you have to weigh states' rights versus data security, the personal data security of our citizens. And I think in this situation, to allow a more level playing field and to do a better job of protecting data, I think it's going to have to probably follow that direction. But we're working on it, and I think we're going to be okay. With regards to other activities that we're working on in the House, I think that what we've found is that there's a big bill coming over from the Senate that we're excited about. It's the first time in a couple years that we've actually got the Senate to move on something that's financial services oriented, and we're excited to get that bill. We want to be able to be supportive of that bill. The senators have kind of told us hands off. Unfortunately, that's not the way the system works around here. We have the legislative branch has two branches that are co-equal. One gets to do something, and they send it to the other body, and the other body gets to do something, and they put it together, and then we try to work on it together. And so what we want to do is try and come up with some bills that we feel are non-controversial, bills that can be added to that to make it a better bill. And so we'll see once how the Senate plays this out. We'll see once what they come up with. It's still going through the Senate process. But I think we in the House have got a lot of bills that we've passed on a bipartisan basis that can actually, I think, add to the existing Senate bill that we want to work on to be able to improve it. So I think as you go through the process, I think you'll see that we're going to be supportive of the Senate bill, and we're going to be trying to find a way to make it better and hopefully get some more additions to it that are going to be helpful. When I go talk to folks like yourselves, I always ask the question, what is the one rule, law, or problem that you have out there that if we got rid of it, it'd make your life easy? And the comment always back to me is, well, it's not one particular one, but it's just accumulation of all these things. Well, if that's the case, with the Senate bill, it's accumulation of a lot of smaller bills, and what we want to do is put a few more smaller bills on there, and you start adding all these small bills together, and eventually it makes a big difference. And so that's what we want to try and do is be helpful, start chipping away at this regulatory mess that's occurred over the last several years, and be able to be impactful in some sort of way. And I think that leads me to my final comments here with regards to how the new administration is doing, especially the new regulators. I'm excited. I've met all the regulators personally, had one-on-one sit-downs with the new folks, and we've got a great group. They are people from the industries themselves that they're now overseeing that have some real life experiences. For instance, the new Fed president is not an economist, he's actually a banker. You've got the comptroller who's somebody who's actually been in the private sector before. So I think that you see people in these positions who've got real world experience that are going to bring that real world common sense understanding of how the regulations impact the people they're regulating. And I think with that sort of a mindset, you'll see, I think, some improved abilities of the regulators to work with you instead of against you. And it's that sort of thing that I think is going to be very helpful over the next several years here. So I'm excited about doing this. My comments to them is always, within your agency, there's been a problem with the culture of that agency. With what the past administration's done, you're going to have to clean out your agency and start from the bottom up to be able to get things righted so that things are not as punitive as they have been in the past and be more helpful instead of hurtful. So I think we've got a great group of folks that are coming in. It's going to take a little bit more time to get them all in place and start cleaning out the underbrush down below, as well as some of the regulations that are difficult for us. But the Treasurer's report came out back in September. Had a lot of good comments and good suggestions on things that the regulators could do, as well as what the legislature could do. And so we're working to try and implement all those changes with the regulators and with ourselves, as well as tell them that we need to put guardrails sometimes around some of your regulations to make sure when the pendulum swings back politically, we don't wind up back in the same situation where we can, again, have these same rules and regulations stay in place. So with that, thank you so much for being here today. We look forward to some of your visits on the Hill later. Continue to be engaged with us because we need to hear from you and let us know whether what's working, what's not working, and we want to be your advocate for your issues and your industry. Thank you so much.